And welcome to a Monday night. It is the 13th of December. Destiny's Child on the way for you, some Benson Boone as well. I'm going to ask you a serious question. Not complicated either, by the way. How are you? Arguably the most powerful combination of three words. And when I say it, whether it's in a text, over a coffee, or on this very show on BBC Essex, I actually care about the answer. I don't just say it to fill a bit of airspace. Trust me, I've got enough nonsense coming out this head to fill airspace if it's that. When I say how are you, I genuinely mean it. If you want to rant at us, you're very welcome to do so. If you want to rant, towards us about something else, that's very, very welcome. Pop the caps lock on, stick Essex at the start of your message. You can send it to us on WhatsApp or text. Put your name in brackets, by the way, at the end of that message. That's code to producer Adam and I to say, don't read this on the radio, but I wanted to get this off my chest. Absolutely fine. Not a problem whatsoever. And by the way, if the answer to how are you is all right, I will ask you again. Because that is the most default answer we all give. Like, yeah, all right. Okay, right, we'll try this one again, shall we? In fact, I've already done it to someone here at BBC Essex today. They said, all right. I was like, right, I'm going to ask you again. Don't fob me off this time, please. And if all right is the answer, that's fine. I'm just always going to make sure. I'm always going to check. Because, look, if you feel flat, maybe even fed up right now, or even just a bit lost, I'm glad you've got the radio on tonight and you're with me. Thank you, because you matter to me. Without you listening to this, I don't have a job. But it's better than that. It's bigger than that. And it means more than that. Because this is us, getting through the evening together. Whether you kick back and just have the show on in the background or, it's a really kind of integral part to your world and you look forward to the big questions on nobody's lips, whatever it might be, I appreciate it. Now, I'm no life coach. I'm not a spiritual leader. I'm not an authority on very much at all, to be honest with you. Although I probably should be your phone a friend on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire if it's a Disney Pixar question. Just putting that on record. But I hope I can make you feel better in any way, shape or form, whether you've just got in the car to go home, if you're on the way out to the gym, if you're with me till 10 o'clock tonight when I hand over to Tony Fisher. I appreciate your company and I like to think we help each other, lift the spirits up, keep each other company. But to help me, and hopefully help you in the long run, lift those spirits a little further, friend of the show, Jag Singh, is back with us tonight to have a chat. Jag, it's lovely to see you and speak to you, my friend. How the devil are you?
I'm fine, Rob. I'm fine. Thank you for this. Thank you so much. No, thank you, Rob. All cool, man. All cool. Thanks.
It's a pleasure to have you back on. Now, for those who haven't met Jag before, you've been a large part of BBC Upload for us in the last couple of years, sending us lots of your inspirational, your motivational sort of messages that you share with people online, but you do so as part of your work and as well as your purpose. But it'd be very remiss of me to introduce our kind of positive minds chat tonight without me saying, how are you, Jag?
I'm doing great. I'm living a dream. I'm going out there doing the best I can, chilling out, Rob, the thing is, fulfillment, that's what it's all about. And I'm sitting there thinking, how can I make this world a better place every day? And you can hit the nail on the head there by saying the words, how are you? They're powerful words. How are you? And a lot of people, and it has to be genuine. It has to come from the heart. How are you? We can all walk by the street and say that to someone, but it has to be genuine. And if so, people turn around and say, well, I've had better days, And do you know what? The best thing those people can hear from anyone is, don't worry, it's going to be fine. You'll be okay. Don't worry.
Do you know what? It's funny because you say that. We had one of our hashtaggers was on a few weeks ago. She's a student who'd come over for the very first time to the UK. She arrived in October this year to study at the University of Essex, and she was lovely to give up 3 of her nights to come and join us and be a part of the show. And we were going through some of those things that you never get taught as someone who grows up in Britain and things like that. And I said, there's a key word you must understand. Okay, it says so many things in passing by another person that you recognise in the street. You might be in the students' union, you might be out in the shops going to the supermarket. And I went, and it's the power to say, hello, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. Have a great day. And all it is, all right? And it's this power.
Right?
Exactly. It's, all right. And it's 2 words. You say the same word back to each other and it says so much more than that. But be bigger than that. It is really key that you know, you do ask each other how people are. Mental health is a huge thing, and we've been huge advocates for it on this show, and we've loved that people have brought that subject to the table when they've had the option to do so as well. We wanted to really kind of focus it on that positive mind, that how do we keep ourselves focused on moving forward, achieving what is next. But, you know, before we do that, and I want to share some of the little sort of tidbits that you've shared with us over the last couple of years from BBC Upload. When was it that you, Jag, first became aware of the power of your mind?
Well, Rob, what happened was when I was young, during my childhood days, it was like tough. And I grew up around East London, surrounded by the National Front, racist, you know, and it was like, you know, the teachers against me, you know, the teachers are racist, the people around me are racist, the windows are getting smashed. And when you're 8 years old, you stop and you say to yourself, look around and you think, you know, what kind of a world am I living in? Now, at that point, my parents, they said to me, you know, you have to have faith in God, you know, in the gurus, in the people up there that can help us. You must have faith. And, you know, it's hard for an 8-year-old to have faith when he's having his window smashed while he's sitting there watching telly with the family. Yeah. And it was like, I can't have faith. But there came a time, and it's in my book. It's a chapter called Reflection. It's brilliant. I walked by a mirror. I was about 8 years old. I looked at that mirror and I thought to myself, God, what kind of a life have I got? I don't want this life, Rob. You know, no, this ain't for me. Then all of a sudden it clicked in my head, the faith bit that my parents have been drumming in my head. And it went like this, Rob. I don't care what's going to happen to me. I know one thing. I'm on this. This is an 8-year-old, 9-year-old boy. I'm going to do something on this planet to make it better. I don't know what the hell it is, but I am going to do something. And that ignited the thought patterns in my head that no matter what I faced in my life, I knew I was going to get through. And even today, with having faced all those challenges when I was 8 years old, when a challenge comes my way, can you imagine how I deal with it, Rob? Like, really? Is that really a problem compared to what I've been through? No, it's not. If I've got through that, I can get through this. And it's about building your own confidence. Rob, we need to take small steps to achieve our goals. We do sometimes pressure ourselves as human beings and say to ourselves, you know, no, I'm going to go and do this, I'm going to do that. But climbing a mountain, you got to do it a step at a time. And that's exactly what I've been doing, Rob. I've been climbing that mountain and, you know, I'm going to keep going. And that's what made me realise, Rob, that to myself, that if I got through that, I need to now share this with people. Share the fact with people that, you know, we can get through, and hope is the magic word. We must never lose hope, Rob.
Yeah. But it is hard, though. I'm going to stand up against you a little bit in this, Jag. Now, you and I think, are very sort of similar minded. You know, the last 2 years have been a struggle for all of us in all sorts of different ways and whatnot. We've all had hurdles come our way that we weren't expecting. We tripped over them, and you know, we've picked ourselves back up. That's why we're all here tonight. You know, Monday the 13th of December. You know, 6:30 near enough. But it is hard, like, you know, keeping the faith, keeping the hope that it will get better as well. When you know, it sometimes feels like okay, here we go again. Okay, and that as well. Oh, brilliant, and that too. But kind of to echo what you also said, it is those baby steps. You know, we have this ability, and it was one of the things I was going to ask you, because I don't understand when it happened. It obviously didn't happen overnight, but why it is that we, as a species, have put this pressure on ourselves to have to achieve these immensely great things. And I don't understand why, because you touch on something which I'll share shortly in one of the sort of the clips you've sent us, and it talks about how we need to appreciate the small things, that the little bits and pieces that we probably take for granted are actually reasons that make us unstoppable, and that kind of thing. Those are words you use a lot of the time: unbreakable, unstoppable.
Yeah. What's happened, Rob, is that as I've been sitting back watching, there's one thing as human beings that we kind of like, you know, put on a back burner, and what happened? The pandemic made kind of woke it up, connecting with each other. Now, if you think about it, we've become a society of mobile phones, iPads, heads down. You go down the bus stop, you go down the tube station, see people heads down. You know, in the old days of the 70s, 80s, people used to talk, how's your day going, mate? You all right? Because there was no mobile phones or whatever. And also, are we using Google for our benefit, or are we wasting our time watching stuff that's not going to benefit or make our lives any better anyway?
Yeah, I know, but I do really like Rick and Morty though, Jack. It's just a nice distraction. It's just a nice distraction to think, oh, this is weird universe I could just go and be in for 25 minutes, just distract myself, you know.
and during the pandemic, well, what happened was that people started connecting with each other, finding people they've never phoned before, you know, on video chats with people they've never had before and never spoken to before for ages, for years. And I think the biggest thing that really came out of the pandemic, which was good, was connecting. We've all started to connect again. We started to call people who haven't spoken for years and go, how are you? You know, because we're alive, and this life is a gift. Well, everyone got this gift, and we just need to make out of it. And it's the connecting, Rob. I found out that the connecting has got much better, and I really like that.
I'll tell you what I've never asked you before, and all the times we've spoken about stuff you've sent us and you know, the clips and videos you've sent via BBC Upload and all the chats we've ever had. Who was your Jag? Because I imagine that you are for a lot of people that maybe see you on the show you do on the Seek channel, or the stuff you've done on YouTube, or anyone that's read your book, that people look, you know, they do refer to you in their own mind when they're out and about. They, you know, a little hurdle comes along in life, that maybe something at work comes along. They think, right, hang on. What did Jag say in his book? I was reading this the other night. What did he say in that book? And he said, right, okay, so do this. And people kind of, you know, almost sort of think, what did Jag say? What would Jag say about this? Who was your Jag?
My Jag was my brother. My brother Bob. Real name Jag Singh, but we nicknamed him Bob, right? He was yeah, he was my pillar of strength, Rob, because I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I was too busy running away from bullies and whatever. And I remember when I was 13 and I came home and I said to Bob, Bob, I can't write, I can't read. He goes, well, why don't you start learning? I said, Bob, I can't though, you know, I can't learn, I'm too busy. He goes, no. Because you need to focus your mind on read road signs, newspapers, magazines, read any word you can. If you can't understand them, you speak to someone. And he said to me that you do want to write a book one day, don't you? Because I used to say to pretend I was a writer, done this and I've done that. He said, you're not going to get nowhere if you don't practice. So, and he said, no one's going to come and help you. Unfortunately, we're in a time now when no one's going to help you. You have to do it yourself. That is all I can say. And he did. He pushed me. And when I didn't want to go to school, it was like, well, Bob, I don't feel like going to school today because we can get bullied, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're going to give up? Yeah, you're going to give up? You're going to stay home? You're not going to make nothing of it? Yeah, no problem. Go in that corner and hide. And, you know, and he always said to me, because we have to have faith. You know, and Bob took them, because he was older than me, he took more to stick at that time, you know. But he always said to me, he goes, we're going to get through it. We just have to keep going. And that's exactly what I did. He was always there for me. He always pushed me when I was down. And I got my F's on my tests and again and again and again, and couldn't string a sentence together. He used to say, Jag, doesn't matter. It's all a learning curve. It's all learning curve. It's just a matter of whether you give in or don't give in.
That is it, though. But you say about giving in, just keep going is another one of the messages you really do bang the drum really hard for. And I'm going to share a little slice of that. And Jag Singh's with me tonight, talk a bit about this and share a lot of his passion for this message, which we've spoken many times about, Jag. So I've got a few clips of things that you've sent us over the past 18 months or so, and I kind of wanted to play a few of them and kind of pick some questions off some of them as well. And the first one I want to play. I'm going to play it and then I'm going to ask you a question about it. This is just a little snippet of Unstoppable.
I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be true to yourself when answering this question. What is your feel-good factor? Now, as I said, be truthful to yourself. Be honest. What is your feel-good factor? When people come to me and say that they lack self-esteem and confidence, and can I help them? I ask them this question. Many turn around and say nothing. They don't have a feel-good factor. Nothing at all. And some turn around and say maybe one or two things that make them feel good about themselves. I tell them they need to find as many feel-good factors about themselves, and trust me, there are many in your life that already exist. Being a son, father, mother, daughter. Don't let these feel-good factors go unnoticed. Celebrate them.
That is something I want to pick up with, and I sort of touched on it a little bit before Destiny's Child, Jay, is this convincing ourselves that these feel-good things, the things that make us, you know, feel positive, you know, lift our spirits up a little bit, make us smile, whatnot, they don't have to be big things. They can be stuff that we we have every single day, like being someone's mum or dad or son or daughter or being someone's aunt and uncle. They're not huge things. You don't have to have achieved a gold medal. Sorry?
I said, you can clip your nails and feel good about it.
Yeah, exactly. If having a haircut makes you feel good, and I know that's coming from me, but if it does, that's I guess it's about how people perceive things, isn't it? How often do people say to you, I don't know what my feel good is, and then you list a few things like what you do. I mean, the other list of stuff that you go on about in Unstoppable, and they go, oh, I didn't realise it could be like everyday stuff.
The thing is, Rob, sometimes we pressurise ourselves. As I said before, we pressurise ourselves that in order to get in a better place and a better mental health is why we need to achieve something really big. We need to do this, do that. But gratitude is the best attitude. That's where it all starts for me. Gratitude. First of all, you're alive. Okay, so what are you going to do? So you've got this life right in front of you, and then also if you're a parent, you're responsible for children. If you're a husband, you're a partner, you're responsible for your partner in a sense that you're there to if you don't need support, you're there to support themselves. But first thing, before we help anyone else around the world, Rob, we've got to help ourselves. That's where we start. Number one, ask it. And my children, they always ask me a question now and again, say, Dad, what's the secret to having a great life? And they do that every now and again throughout the week. And I'll give them different answers because it is so many ways that you can create an amazing life. And one of them is character. That's an important one. Am I a good character? Am I a nice person? Do I speak? Do I give for no reason? Do I say thank you for no reason? These things are so important. Things that sometimes, we just sit down there and say that. And as ourselves, to make ourselves good, the great fulfillment of achievement you get when you make that dinner for your children, when you sit down and spend some time with your children, with your partner, you watch that film or whatever, that's what it's all about. And that's where your mental health gets in a better position, a better place, where you're thinking, you know what, I spent time with my children today. I know I've got to pay debts. I know that. I know I've got to pay bills, yeah, but they can wait. They can wait. I can find ways to do that. But first I have to get myself in a good place for myself, because you are responsible for the people around you. But you've got to take care of yourself first.
It is quite incredible to think that the actions and the time you can spend with someone or doing a particular activity that makes you happy can be way more powerful and long lasting than buying yourself something that you really want. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Just to put it into context, I was sat there watching the Jungle final last night, and they were doing their final meal, so their ideal meal. And I just said, I said to my mum, I'd have 3 courses of Viennetta. That's it. I would just have 3 courses of Viennetta, and they'd go, you can't have that for 3 courses. I'm like, yes, I can. I'm a grown up, and that's what I want. Please and thank you. That is what I want. 3 courses of Viennetta. Thank you very much indeed. But we forget this when, as a grown up, you forget that you're actually in charge of these things, and you can choose to have your favourite sandwich, or you can choose to have the same old thing you always have. And
Rob, sometimes we can be basically, we don't have to make it too. I believe in simplicity, keeping things simple, Kish, And I make a list every day of a few things that I've got to do. And like yesterday, my list was I've got to write 2 hours of my book. I've got to speak to an interview coming up soon for the TV show. And another one was I've got to play Guess Who with my family. And I did.
I love that.
We played Guess Who for about a good hour or so, but that's totally away. And did I feel good for doing that with my daughter and my wife, my family? Yes, I did. I was totally out of the zone. And a lot of things, sometimes, like Rob, you have to close your business door. A lot of people come home, bring their work home. A lot of people, they're constantly thinking about their work. Sometimes in our head, we have to put the close sign.
Yeah.
It's closed. And any thought that comes to your head about work or whatever you say, says, no, I'm closed at the moment. I'm playing Guess Who. And I'm going to carry on. I'm going to try my best to find that character.
Are they wearing a hat? Are they wearing a hat? No, they're not wearing a hat. Fine. No, but it's very true, and I think it's really super important. I think you've mentioned that tonight as well, because obviously with a lot more advice to work from home from today as well, there are going to be people, a lot of kind of people going, right, now I've got to get my head back into working and living in the same space. However it works for you is how it works for you, and that you sort of led me nicely on to a clip I'm going to play from from one of the sort of talks you give called Legend, which reminds me of one of my favourite Dr. Seuss quotes.
Nowhere else is there another individual like you. Right here, right now, you exist, and there will never be another you, ever. This makes you a legend that can make a difference. Do something amazing with your life and leave a track of achievements so great that people will remember your name forever. Or you can just merely let the winds of life throw you from side to side. Exist and ride the train of life whichever direction it takes you. Many amazing legends have walked the earth, such as Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs, and many, many more. These individuals have left their success stories behind so that we can use these as an example of what humans are capable of achieving if we truly want to. What we have learned from these legends is that with true conviction, belief and action, you can make a difference. You can impact another individual's life and become a legend, just like they did.
I love that because it's both ends of the spectrum, Jag, in that you're right. You know, an individual has had such, just those three you listed, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs, they had such legacies after, years after whatever they did. But you said right at the end, you can affect one person's life and you can change someone's whole day or whole year, by the way you are and the way you kind of carry yourself. And to give you the Dr. Seuss quote, which I know I've used a lot of times on the show before, it is, today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you.
Perfect.
So don't try to be anybody else. Just be you and be better than you were yesterday. And it's hard. Look, I can't keep going on about that enough. I can't stress this enough. There are days when I hate being me because I'm annoying. I wind myself up a lot. My brain never shuts up. I have to live with this 24 hours a day. It happens at 3 a.m. in the morning as well as 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Halfway through a sentence, I'll be talking out loud. My brain will go, oh, you ever wondered why? Do penguins know they don't have fingers? That happens to me all the time, and it's really flipping annoying, okay? Really annoying. But I can only be better than me. I can only be me. And I guess it's sort of wanting to leave something behind that, in years to come, people go like, oh, you remember Rob? He did everything he wanted to do and he was this. And it's hard. It's really, really
and
hard.
It goes back to Rob, the feel-good factor. It goes back to the feel-good factor, okay? If someone's slightly overweight, okay, they shouldn't beat themselves up, right? They should say to them, no, I'm going to get an action plan. I do A, B, C, and do it. If somebody's sitting there thinking to themselves, I haven't achieved nothing much in my life, it doesn't matter. You're alive. You've got your family. You've got people around you. You appreciate them. And then, again, make a plan. What is it that you want to see yourself doing in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? And if we don't answer that question, where are we going to be in 5 years, 10 years' time? We're going to be exactly where we are today. And another thing I'd like to say, Rob, is that a lot of people, what they do is they sit there thinking about something that happened 5 years ago, something that happened 10 years ago, something that 15 years ago, even 20. Now, I've got this great method which I'm going to share right now and people will put to use straight away. When we sit there and we think of those negative thoughts, we need to stop and say to ourselves, out of all the things in the universe, do I really want to think about this now? I'll repeat, out of all the things I can think in the universe now, do I really want to think about what happened 10 years ago or what happened 8 years ago? No, I don't. So then at that moment, you replace your thoughts with something totally different, which could be having a workout plan, which could be how you're going to start your book. Well, how can you... Listen, JFK said, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And that applies to us as well as human beings. What can I do for my daughter today? What can I do for my wife?
I'm so enthused every time we speak. It is unbelievable. But Jag, I want to talk a little bit more and tell people where they can find you online. You find your book as well, of course, because that's out there too. But I'm also very aware of the time. Jag Singh is my guest tonight. We are talking positive minds. And sometimes I get it. So I know full well that predictably, you can guarantee my show will be a bit random, a bit weird, a bit different every single night, okay? And there are days when actually I'm a bit much, and I understand that. If you ever feel that way, please put something else on. I get told off for saying this all the time, but please, no, because I don't want to be the person that makes your mood even worse. If I'm gonna make it worse, turn me off, okay? And come back when you're ready. But if I can help, that's exactly what I intend to do each and every night. And that's why, Jag, we asked you to come on the show tonight to share some of your positive thoughts as well. To remind us what your book is called and where we can find you on YouTube, because there's so many more of the messages you've got and your work as well online. Where's the best place for us to find you, Jag?
Thank you, Rob. Guys, go on your browser, type in Jag Singh, SINGHI can, and that will take you to my YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel, Rob, I've got all the Positive Mind interviews from my TV show. I've interviewed approximately 29 amazing guests who gave us some great advice on how we can fulfill our goals in life. So that's my YouTube channel, Jag Singh I Can. Also Twitter, @JagSingh_I Can. Follow me, constantly chucking motivational videos on there to get people going out there and reaching their goals.
It's a great one for the timeline to have. It's a great sort of little breakup of all the nonsense that goes on. It's like you have a nice motivational regular slot. It's brilliant. Do it.
and finally, my book, Unbreakable. Unbreakable is my story, as I touched on today, when I was a child growing up in East London, and it talks about the challenges that I encountered at that time and how I got from there to where I am today.
I think
that's Unbreakable. That's on Amazon.
I think it's really important as well. That's why I wanted to touch on it briefly tonight as well, Jag, ahead of talking, focusing on that positive side, focusing on the forward, is that, you did come from a lot of challenges, when you were younger. We've talked about this before, but you have overcome challenges in your life. This is not something that, you've always been of this sort of, you've not been an airy, fairy headed person all your life. You're not really like, oh, everything's lovely. Because it's not. We know it's not lovely. There has been rubbish. I've
got my bruises.
Exactly.
Bruises,
and I wanted to make sure that we got that across tonight as well, so people didn't, because you are so positive, you are so motivational, and look, I get it. I know at times it's annoying, isn't it, when someone's really positive and you're having a rubbish day. Nothing annoys you more than a really positive person. I get it. I'm not going to dress it up as anything else. It is really annoying. You're like, go away, you positive Peter. Go away. Go on, off you pop. But it is. But you've come through challenges. You've learned from that. You've got the bruises, the scars to remind you of where you've come from and why you're going where you're going, and the fact that
Rob, it's like what I said before, Rob. Out of all the things we can think in the universe, do I really want to think about that right now?
Yeah.
Shift it, move it, flush it down the toilet. It's done. Right, what's next? What's my plan? It's hard, it's tough, it takes years of practice to do, but if you can start practicing it today, that's a little baby step you've taken to get in that direction.
And you know what? And if you're really struggling to find another thought to occupy your mind, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to start doing. It's my sort of it's very early, but a sort of New Year's thing I'm going to do. I'm going to share the big questions on nobody's lips that I do. They're ridiculous. They're totally made up off the top of my head, and they're not for any real purpose at all other than just to distract you for 10 seconds. Like, how many people make up a choir? Is there a number? Does that exist? So just take that thought and run with it at times. Is there such thing as a reusable wrapping paper? Is that a real thing? Does it exist yet? Have a think. Sometimes you just need a random thought to distract you enough to take you off in a different direction, to kind of take you away from that negativity that might be there. But Jag, thank you for spending so much time with us tonight to talk about this and share that positivity. Unbreakable, the book is out there. Go and find Jag Singh on YouTube as well. And no doubt, my friend, we'll talk again with another video on BBC Upload in the future. But for now, have a wonderful, wonderful winter.
And you, Rob, thank you very much for this. Thank you so much. Have a great one.